Alrighty. Hello, everybody. This is episode 77 of Shoot the Breeze, a chill interview and chill time all around for you and me. I am your host, HeavyDivider, and alongside me here today is, well, they are a very chaotic but fun-loving friend here. As a matter of fact, they're also a streamer, as well as somebody you can always have a nice time with, no matter what kind of crazy shenanigans they will possibly be on hand. So, my guest for tonight here is Rainbow Senpai, but we're going to call them Rainbow for short. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem on hand. I will say this is a very rare Shoot the Breeze interview on hand, especially being on a Thursday night, but I have no problem being able to do that just to give somebody an interview on hand, especially no matter what time or day or so. I see it as a challenge, but also a fun challenge. But yes.
Well, thank you.
Not a problem. Not a problem on hand here. So, let's go ahead and get down to business with the first question on hand. How the hell did we meet?
I saw your hat and I really wanted it. I'm kidding.
It's all good.
A mutual friend was talking and he was like, hey, do you know Heavy? And I was like, not personally, no. I've seen Alchem on Heavy's show. I've heard of Heavy. I've seen him play games with other people. I haven't really talked to him. And they were like, yeah, you should go talk to Heavy. And I was like, okay, I'll go talk to Heavy. I still want your hat, though, so...
I mean, I could tell you on hand, I'm pretty sure I got the assets to this top hat somewhere on my computer here. I could send it your way if you want. If anybody wants a top hat, they can have it. Like, really. If they want it.
I want that top hat now.
It's fine. It's fine. It's the hat that basically magically floats on the top of my head. Like, that's the only thing I could say, because my head's too big for it. That's why. So. That's my only conclusion on hand, but... Oh, boy. But all I could say is... I've only met you, like, besides right now, one time also, too, for the New Year's Eve, once it was New Year's on Central Time or so, with you and Alchem in VRChat, so.
We also played Phasmo.
That too, we did. We did play Phasmo, and pretty much you and Alchem, me and Omega, just basically doing shenanigan craziness as usual.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Like, can't expect anything else from the local gremlin.
Nope. No, you can't. No, you can't on hand. So, let me ask you my second question on hand. That being your VRChat origins. What got you into VRChat?
Basically Alchem was like super like crazy about it, and I was like, well, I don't have a computer, so I got to watch some of his streams, watch some other people's streams, and I was like, kind of want to play it. So Alchem let me borrow one of his really old laptops. I think it's like 11 now, like it's a really old laptop. He was like, here, this can run it. So I'm playing it. At the time, my name wasn't always Rainbow Senpai, it was Mr. Hello Rainbow. And Alchem was like, why was it Mr. Hello Rainbow? And I was like, I don't know, because you see everyone like in female avatars, and I'm just like there, kind of female avatar, and I'm just like, Mr. You know how many, that's gonna confuse so many people? Who's gonna be like, you a chick, you a guy, what's going on over there? I don't know.
What can you do? What can you do?
Basically.
What can you do on hand? I was going to say, when did you get started in VRChat or so? Was it like 2018, 2019 or so? Or maybe later than that?
About the same time as Alchem, so about 2018, I think.
Okay.
But I usually, again, where I was, I didn't have a computer to run it, so I haven't actually been in it for a long time. So, but now I have a computer that can run it, so I can go join people in VRChat. Though it's mostly on desktop.
Well, hey, maybe over time or so you'll be able to get your own headset or so. That way, you and Alchem basically do some many different things on hand that requires hands on hand, especially for like game worlds or just like any kind of like one of those object worlds where you could just mess around in.
I'm gonna be honest, I just want hands so I can go give people head pats. That's my like main goal.
That is fair.
Just to finally head pat everyone.
There you go. That's fair on hand. That is fair on hand here. So, let me ask about your hobbies on hand besides this game in general. Now, we talked about Phasmophobia, mentioning that collab between you, Alchem, me, and Omega on hand. I know for a fact you play a little bit of Dead by Daylight on hand. A little bit of that here and there. Also a little bit of Breath of the Wild on hand, too, which is a game I've never got a chance to play, but I've heard some good stuff on hand, especially if you like to explore around and all. But besides these games, what other things do you have that would be considered your hobbies in general?
Besides games, I do like to draw. I haven't drawn in a while, so I'm losing my practice. I'm trying to get back into that. I do write. It's been a while since I've done that. I do make my plushies, which sadly my stuff is in storage because looking for a place to move to. Let's see, what else? Do lots of stuff. I like to read. I don't know why. Because everyone's like, oh, see you nerd. I'm just like, I just like reading. I like helping my sister with her math problems. So.
Mouth problems?
Yeah, math.
Oh, math
because
problems.
She's in college.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mistook that as something else. I was like, what? Sorry, my bad. Hearing.
It's cool. It's cool. Let's see. I causing trouble. Alchem, he yells at me all the time. He's like, why are you doing this? I'm like, oh no. For fun. I like doing stuff just spur of the moment. Like, one time when I went to the ocean, there was a shark in the water and everyone's screaming and my dumbass jumped in the water. 2 pets said shark.
Well, okay, damn.
I mean, how many people you know gonna be like, so I pet a shark?
So I tamed a shark and got myself an epic mount here. You know?
Yeah. Well, everyone's running away and you just see me going in. My family's grabbing onto me, trying to pull me back. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna pet it. I mean, I pet it, so.
Well, there you go. There you go on hand. So, good lord. I wouldn't even know who would want to boop a shark, that's the thing. Unless you're gonna be like one of those people where you're gonna try to like wave surf on top of a shark or something. Then that's gonna be a different story. Good lord.
Well, I seen a bear once and I was like, I'm gonna go pet that bear. So I take off running towards bear and I was at my friend's house and my friend comes and grabs me and drags me back into their house and they're like, you can't do that. I'm like, but why? I didn't get to pet it though.
I got you. I was gonna say, this is like the most wholesome version of like the crocodile hunter I've ever seen. It's like, oh, look over there. That's a deadly animal. One bite of it and I'm gonna die. I'm gonna pet it.
I'm gonna pet it.
I'm gonna give it head pats.
Yeah, basically. One time, we went to this one alligator wrestling farm. Sadly, I couldn't do it. I was actually really sad because you had to be 16 and I was 15, I think. I was just slightly underage. And I was like, man, and no one else wanted to do it. And my dad was like, I'll do it. He gets in the thing. There's a 14-foot crocodile there and he's like, I'm out. And I'm like, he's right there. Just. But the guy let me hold the little crocodile, so I mean.
Yeah.
I almost came home with a crocodile.
Well, hey, definitely gonna come home victorious, even if it's pretty much a pet that you probably didn't want to have in the first place. You know? So, there's that. But, let me ask you this question. What game was basically your introduction into gaming entirely on hand? Like, what got you started in gaming?
Okay. So, growing up, I wasn't allowed to play games at all. So, I got to watch my brothers play all of their games, and I was like, man, I really want to play games. And eventually, growing up, my brother had a girlfriend who was like, hey, you can borrow my Xbox. And I was like... And she brought over a game called Mass Effect. And I was like, So I got to play it, and my brother was like, this is a stupid game, because he threw the controller. And I was like, can I play it? And he's like, I don't care. Knock yourself out. So I got to play it, and I was like, I really like this. Then sadly, they broke up. She ended up taking the Xbox back, but left me with the game. But because, my brother's mad at her, he was like, snap. And I was like, no, my one and only game.
Oh.
And then we fast forward to when because we moved around a lot. So I kind of forgot the name of the game because I was really little when I got to play it. And eventually, when I got to high school, I was talking to a friend, and he was like, oh, so what game do you like? And I was like, well, there's this game. There's about aliens. You can be all these different things. Like, I'm trying to, like, summarize what I remember of Mass Effect. And he's just looking at me like I'm an idiot. And he goes, that's Mass Effect. And I go, huh? He goes, yeah, that's the game you're telling me. It's Mass Effect. He goes, have you played the second one yet? And I was like, there's a second one? He goes, yeah, there's a third one coming out soon. And I was like, there's a third one? So I ended up buying the game because my brothers don't like it. I got to play it, and I'm going to be honest, I cried like a baby. And I still cry anytime I play it.
Yeah, that's a really good, it's a really good series on hand, like Mass Effect, which just in case, I'm pretty sure you already know, there's a Legendary Edition on Steam you can buy. So you can get all 3.
I have it. Alchem got it for me.
There you go. Call back to your child.
Like I said, I'm like, it's just like that one game that you just absolutely just love. Like, not Andromeda. Andromeda kind of sucked. There was aspects in Andromeda that I liked. I won't say like it completely sucked. Like, I like the fact that you could like swap classes, and I like the multiplayer in that. But overall, the story wise and everything, I think it was just like it just sucked compared to the other 3.
Yeah, a little bit bare bones. So,
it was.
Yeah, I remember because I played it on the PS4, and I was like, well, could have been a little bit more on hand, especially with it or so. I need to get the Legendary Edition when I get a chance, because that'll be a callback to my own Xbox 360 days. Good lord.
I love it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
you're
just
fine.
absolutely adore it.
No, you're fine. I mean, I enjoy it too. Like, it's a good game. Really good game. Series altogether or so. But, let me go ahead and get down to a couple questions here I was going to ask you about. So, let's talk about the VRChat scene. Now, in this current time of where we are right now, what are your current opinions about VRChat at this moment?
My honest opinions? Okay. Well, I like it, but I think some people kind of overdo it in a way where I'm trying to put this nicely because I don't want to sound mean.
That's perfectly fine.
I don't really like doing that.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, for example, I get it when there's like a specific type of person that you like that is well endowed in any specific way, and I get that. But sometimes some people are like child avatar, and I'm like, please stop. And I'm like, no, like, sometimes there are actual kids that play this.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy. And then, like, I get it. Like, you can be whatever you'd like to be. Like, if you want to be a 5-foot not 5 foot, a 50-foot TRX, go for it.
No.
But, like, again, some people just take it and make it into like a sexual fetish type thing, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, VRChat's got like this gray area on here.
I just want to make friends.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Like I said, it's a gray area on it because you could be whatever you want to be. It's one of those things too where, especially with it being the internet, you set your boundary lines, but sometimes people can't seem to know what those boundary lines are, especially depending on what they want to do or so, which, as it is or so. But it is at least a great place to be able to make friends, as well as just be able to, once again, it's one of the few places on here where you can interact with somebody across the globe too, and be able to see them.
That's true.
Yep.
That is true. And I do like that. Like I said, it's just like, it has its up and downs. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh yes, it's a shitty thing. No, not at all. Like, it's really fun because you do get to meet people. Like, I get to meet you. I got to meet some other people. Now, will we remain friends? I would hope so, but some people are like, goodbye. This person over here, they're cooler than you. I'm like, oh, okay, like that's kind of mean, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, and I can't really stop them.
No, that's fair. It is what it is, especially with how it is. Especially depending on who does what, or, you know, how... Because everybody's got a different community, no matter what, or so. Like, and it's based on the people you attract on hand that are there for you as the individuals, and just, you're able to mesh together personality-wise to be like, you know, like, hey, I'm full of chaotic energy, you're full of chaotic energy. Let's do some chaotic fun on hand, you know, no matter what it is.
This is true. For example, like Alchem, when he goes into a world, like with friends, and I don't mind this, but like sometimes, like everyone wants to come in, and then their friends wants to come in, and you know everyone's already starting to form their little cliques, and I'm like, I don't really have a clique. I'm just gonna stand here awkwardly by myself, and you know, be like, oh, that's a nice piece of grass. And then eventually, that's how I met my one friend, Six. He was like, it's chaotic, isn't it? I was like, yeah. And he goes, let's just go over here. We'll just sing songs to each other. We're like, okay. So we were in a corner singing while everyone else was talking.
Yep. But, yeah, that's usually what happens on hand. Usually if you can't find the person you can relate to on hand, sometimes it's just kind of like one of those moments on hand where it just takes like a small interaction on hand, and then, you know, breaking down that little bit of wall little by little, and then it's just like best of friends, you know? As it is.
Yeah.
As it is. So... let me ask you about streaming collabs on hand. What is that like to be able to be part of a collab, or just how you would organize something together, or how would you want to do things?
Okay. Well, I'm still a baby streamer, so like I don't have that many collabs like let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. I'm like, okay. So I usually take about a week at a time. Sometimes someone's like, hey, I can't do it this week. You want to do next week? And I'm like, I got you. But it's pretty easy for me to remember everything that I have to do. Because, again, it's mostly like, someone's like, hey, you want to hang out? And I'm like, okay, you pick a day. Because I usually do morning streams, so I'm like, you pick a day and I'll just set up a time, or we can work around times or something. And they're like, okay. I have met some cool people, and some people I've rated are pretty chill, and I try to keep in contact with people I've rated. Try to. Because I have met some really, and I'm going to like mean this in the most respectful way, assholes when I raid them. Because I try to, like, I send people personal messages after I raid them, like, hey, I hope this is cool. And like I got some messages going, yeah, you better do it again. And I'm like, excuse you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to run into those kind of people on hand when it comes to streaming on hand. And usually, you know, no matter who it is or so, be it, you know, like a first-time streamer or basically like some sort of like big veteran on hand or so, sometimes people have like a different personality of what it is or so, you know?
Well, I've met like really amazing people. I try to keep in contact with them. I'm trying to also wing off of, for example, because Alchem already has like his group of friends, which I'm kind of in there, but like it's still his technical group of friends. So I'm like, I'm trying to like have like some of his friends, but like I don't want all of his friends, because then it just looks like I'm using Alchem for whatever it is, and I'm just like, I don't really want that. So I'm also trying to like make my own friends, my own little friend group, to, you know, be like, look, I don't really need Alchem for friends. I can make my own.
I got you on hand. I could tell you pretty much, for the most part, that no matter what or so, if you're like a very kind-hearted individual or so, and people can see it, especially here in chat, everybody can see you're a kind-hearted individual or so, no matter what or so, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, my friends are your friends, and pretty much it's like, you know, you mesh in together no matter what it is or so, and it's always will shine out. It will always be the shining point on hand or so, no matter what. So
this is fair, but I also will tell people, because some people automatically assume that, you know, because Alchem has like this one friend who could be a friend of a friend of a friend who Alchem knows. They're like, oh well, you must know them, and I'm like, I don't know who they are. Like, I've never heard, like, I might have heard of them, but I don't know who they are. I've never spoken to them. So I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that person's my friend. That person's, I don't know them.
Ah, I got you.
But, like, people automatically assume that Alchem, since they're friends with Alchem, that they must be friends with me. And I'm like, I honestly have no idea who they are.
I got you.
And I'm like, because I tell people, I'm like, listen, they're cool, but, like, I personally do not have a friendship relationship with them. So I can't, like, comment on said person because it will be, like, one-sided, and it's kind of like, since I don't know them, I might say something that might offend them, like if I didn't know you and someone's like, hey, what about Heavy? I'm like, I don't know, I guess he's okay, and that might offend you. You might be like, I'm only okay? Like, I'm not saying you would, but...
No, I got you. It's all good. Like...
Because, like, some people would be, like, really offended by that, and I'm just like, I don't know you enough to be like, oh yeah, you're amazing, and be like...
Yeah. You rather basically figure out what the chemistry is on hand so that way you can have an honest opinion on this individual or so.
Yeah, because, like, for example, you can have a friend who's really good friends with you.
Mm-hmm.
But said your one friend could be an asshole towards me and I won't like them. I'm not saying any of your friends are like that, by the way. Please.
It's all good. It's all good. No, we understand.
I always worry that someone's gonna be like,
no, you're fine. You're fine.
No.
No, you're fine.
But because sometimes, like, there's that dynamic, and then sometimes I just don't like someone because there's, like, a clash in opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Or not opinions, personalities, I should say. Like, for example, I tell people, I'm like, hey, if you're my friend and I consider you my friend, you have the right to call me a bitch. Like, you could call me a bitch. Now, if you had a friend here who I didn't know and they were like, you're a bitch, I'd be like, I don't know you, I don't like you, get away from me.
I got you.
Like, that would automatically just make me not want to be friends with them because I don't know them and they're already trying to, like, cross a boundary.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. I understand. It's pretty much one of the, you got to get that first impression too, just so you can know how they are, it's kind of like, as I describe it in my own head, feeling out the room first. That way you know what kind of energy is there, and then that way you can approach it and just kind of, like, introduce yourself.
Yeah, because you don't know, like, what their tolerance level is on, like, their joking level and your joking level, because their joking level might be, like, way higher, and yours, like, that's too much for me.
Yeah, I see.
Or your joking level might be a little bit too high for them, and they're just like, that makes me uncomfortable, and you're just like, my bad. So, like, it all depends on, like, the first interactions, because, like I said, I worry a lot when I talk to people. Like I said, if you had a friend here and like someone takes offense to this, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what have I done? I don't know you, but I'm sorry. And I actually will apologize and be like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I got you. No, I got you on hand. Just know, for the most part, no matter what or so, it's one of those things too, like, first impressions and everything, and just know that no matter what kind of chemistry it is or so, just know, I could tell on hand that basically when it comes down to, like, any kind of craziness on hand or so, it's going to be one of those more fun things on hand. Because I could tell you're, like, the chaotic energy type on it, which, again, understand all my friends are chaotic energy too. Like, literally, we're able to bounce off crazy stuff on hand. It's just, like, the most hilarious things for us. So I could tell you on hand, especially, I guarantee all your friends are pretty much going to be like that too. If not, be able to mesh well with it too. So there you go.
I like that. I actually like it when my friends can have, like, that interaction. But, like, I get it if they're having a bad day and they're just quiet. I just, because I don't mind if they're, like, having, like, a really bad day. I'll just sit there with them and be like, you want to play a game? We don't have to talk. We can just play. And that usually cheers them up. And I actually enjoy that the most.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Always helps out on hand. Always helps out on hand here. So, let me ask you this. You're pretty much a baby streamer, as you say on hand. When did you start streaming, if I can ask?
8 months ago.
8 months ago.
8 months ago. Can you believe it?
Well,
but no, it's been 8 months.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Let's see. My very first game I streamed technically wasn't me streaming. It was actually to test if the laptop I had could handle streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So the very first game that I actually ended up playing was Castle Crashers. And you can just hear me just be like, I think it was like a 15-minute stream just to test it out. And you can just hear me just there like, is it working? I don't know. Is my headset working?
Mm-hmm.
Like just panicking and like freaking out. And you know, some of the people who from Malcolm's chat was like, who randomly just followed me, and they were just like, you're streaming? And I'm like, why are you here? I haven't even announced I'm streaming. And they're just like, I'm telling everyone. And I'm like, oh my god, no.
Good Lord.
So that's how that one started, and I actually enjoyed that. It actually was like very much more comfortable because like I know a lot of people like look at numbers and stuff, and I'm just like, I'll just randomly talk about any and anything.
Yeah, which is a good trait to have, especially, you know, like if it's like one of those quiet days where, hey, you could just, you know, pull anything out of the thin air and just talk about it, you know? You be by yourself, or basically those come along and be like, hey, that's an interesting topic. Let me listen into this, you know?
Currently, I just got done playing Paper Mario.
That's a good one.
Because I try to finish my series. Like, I might not finish it, like, throughout the whole time I'm streaming. Because, like, I do tell people, I'm like, hey, if you want to collab on a day and I want to play a game, I'm like, and I can move that to a different day. It's not a big deal. It's a game. It's not going anywhere. So, like, I was like, I'm going to finish Paper Mario. And everyone in my chat was, like, cheering and going, you got this! And then I had 1 HP left, and I'm like, I'm going to die because I didn't save it. I'm like, I'm going to die. And I ended up winning, and I was like, you just hear me just losing it. I'm like, yes, I did it!
Was it the final boss that you were beating, or?
It was.
Oh my god.
What?
No, it gives me a flashback because I played Paper Mario A Thousand Year Door, and I was down to 1 HP against the Shadow Queen, and I won. It just gave me a flashback to it.
Yeah, because I was facing Bowser, and I'm just like, because I didn't know, because I used like half of my items in the first half of the battle, because I didn't know I was supposed to do something, and I finally figured it out. I was like, oh crap, got to the second half, I have like nothing, and I'm doing it, I'm trying really hard, and you just see me screaming at Bowser, like, how dare you heal yourself? And then, you know, he hits me, I have 1 HP, and I'm just there like, I didn't save. I'm gonna have to go do all the battling again, and I'm just like, well, go my turtle. Turtle kills him, and I'm like, I have the power.
I have the... you just have the power and just like, and just basically do like a victory pose as time slows down. You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna
Like, I
keep
couldn't
you
even
down.
help it. Like, I was so happy. And I was like, man, I'm gonna go make a little video of that later.
There you go.
Just for my own amusement.
There you go. So, the question I was going to ask you on hand is, what is it like being a streamer, for the most part? Even for your 8 months on hand, what is it like?
Well, I genuinely just enjoy it, because, again, I don't look at the numbers. I just go in there, someone occasionally will pop in and be like, hi, and I'd be like, hi, this is me, this is what I do, and someone's like, so, what's a waifondo? And I'm like, good question, because I have dubbed myself the one and only waifondo, which is, I am neither male nor female, but yet I am both at the same time. It's basically, if whatever you want to see me as, that's what I am. So if you're like, you're a dude, I'm gonna be like, okay. Someone else could be like, you're a chick, I'd be like, okay.
Hey.
Now if someone's like, you're a hermaphrodite, I'd be like, okay. Like, if that's what you want, okay.
Just shrug shoulders, be like, if it makes you happy.
Yeah, basically. But I don't like when someone comes in the chat and be like, discouraging someone else. Because I've had people do that, and I'm like, hey, don't do that. Because I mean, you're pretty lenient in chat. Because you can basically have free range to do what you want, you know, within TOS, my bad. But someone's like, hey, he's really cool, and someone, like, attacks him like they're not a he, it's a she, and I'm like, calm down. They have the right to call me what they want. Just like you do. That's the name of the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I did lose that person as a follower because I did end up correcting them, and I was like, I don't really mind. I mean, as long as, you know, the other person's also happy.
Yeah. Plus, it's one of those things where you
'Cause I
set your
don't wanna,
boundary
like-
lines.
Yeah, because I don't want someone in chat to think that they can just bully another person in chat because, hey, your opinion's different than mine. I need to, like, shun you. I'm just like, dude, they're fine.
No, I feel you. I feel you on hand with that, especially when, again, you know, you've always got to make sure to establish, like, that line on hand, especially, you know, what you can do, what you can't do, and just be able to, because that's what's going to separate, you know, you being, you know, you who you are, of what you're comfortable with, compared to those that may be out there, they're, like, perfectly fine for whatever it is compared to what you are not so comfortable with, you know. So, it helps.
Yeah, basically.
It helps on hand. I will say, Omega was going to ask you, so when gunfire?
When gunfire? You message me a day, and yeah. Except tomorrow, because tomorrow I already have plans to play Fall Guys with a different friend, Zentama.
I got you. Got you on hand.
So anytime next week, you let me know. We'll make it happen.
All right, there you go. There you go for you, Omega. So let me go ahead and ask you a very deep question here. Now, for everything you've described on hand, with streaming to some of the things you do to, you know, from your origins to where it led you up to here, and for pretty much, you know, having the personality you have of being very kind-hearted, you know, chaotically energy on hand, and just be able to, you know, try to brighten people's days up on hand. My question I want to ask you is, what is the motivation that keeps you going? What motivates you to do the things you do?
Well... Okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to try not to cry, because I might cry, but I'm going to try not to. I'm going to be honest. It's the fact that growing up, I had a very tough life, and I tell this to people, and anyone who asks, I'm like, yes. Growing up, I was actually, like, bullied by my family. I was locked in a room for years, basically, like a little square room, with no contact with other people. So for the longest time, trying to interact with other people was like the hardest thing. Like really, like, physically I couldn't, like, talk to people. Like, going to restaurants, I couldn't order food because, like, mentally I was, like, stunned because, like, I couldn't get the fact that I was locked in a room. So I was, like, traumatized from other people for, like, the longest time. And like, when I first met Alchem IRL, I only said 3 words to him. And that was, thank you, okay. Those were the 3 words I've ever said to Alchem the first day that we met. And, so getting to play VR, I was still, like, this awkward, antisocial person, because I just kind of stood there and I really didn't talk to anyone. It's more so because, again, mentally I was blocked on doing that. So, I'm trying not to cry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Hey, that's your heart speaking.
So, eventually I started to talk to a few people. Like, they turned out to be really cool. I seen Alchem streaming, and I was like, I kind of want to do that. For the first 6 months of Alchem stream, I was in his chat, just kind of, like, lurking around, really quietly, and I would just, like, message once or twice during a stream and then just never comment again, because, like, I felt like so much pressure from, like, just trying to talk to people. I'm like like, it was just, like, the anxiety of it more so. So when I ended up starting to stream, I was like, you know, I felt a lot better. I don't want people to feel like, oh yeah, no, you can't talk to people. So I'm like, hey, if you're feeling down, you're free and more than welcome to message me, because I probably know what you're going through at some point, because I've had a shitty life. So I'm like, yeah, if you just need to, like, get something off your chest, I tell people, I'm like, hey, I'll keep it to myself. I'm like Fort Knox. I'll never tell anyone. So, yee.
Nee.
I gotta be hyper and like super like excitable. Not more so not for chat, but for me, because I don't want to feel like I'm drifting back into a place that I don't want to go.
I see.
Like I more so do stuff because I want to do it, not because someone's like, hey, you should do this or you should do that. I'm doing it because that makes me happy.
I understand. So, let me ask you about now the VRChat current present. Now we talked about the scene of where we are wise or so, but let's talk about the current present in comparison of when you first started VRChat to where we are now. What are some of the things you're glad have been changed over the course of time to where it's led here to some of the things you wish have not changed along the way to where it led to VRChat now?
Okay. I do like that there's more worlds, so that way you can go meet more people. They did expand it to, I believe, the PS4 or what game system was it? PS5?
For VRChat?
That way they can get on VR. Yeah.
Because
they now have it for a game system.
I don't think it was for a game system. Not that I recall on hand. All I know is I think they kind of extended it all the way over to mostly headsets for the most part. Like, that's the only thing I could think, especially like portable ones like Oculus Quest. So, but
they need to work on Oculus Quest though, because my friend has that one. Basically because they can't see our avatars, they only see like the preset avatars. So like that's still pretty cool because they can still join us, but they don't get to see our amazing models.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? At least I can still hang out with my friends because, like I said, because I moved, I don't get to see my best friend, who I've been friends with for going on 13 years now, and I don't get to see her anymore. So I'm like, man, this is slightly depressing. So sometimes she's like, hey, you want to have a VR date? And I'm like, heck yeah. So sometimes I'll end stream or just not stream a day and just be like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friend.
I got you on hand. And
because
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. Well, I was gonna say, so pretty much on hand. Besides that, or so, I'm guessing nothing really too much on the sense of like it's pretty much as it is on hand for VRChat for you, for the most part, or.
Yeah, to me it hasn't really changed. I mean, the graphics have gotten better on some worlds. Though it seems like nowadays VRChat is slowly starting to decline because most people aren't making as many worlds anymore because the pandemic is over. So people are going to go do their thing now, and I get that. But it seems like new worlds are slowly declining, so people will slowly stop wanting to play it. And I'm like, you know what? As long as I can still make time for my friends, it's all about the same.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair on hand. Let me ask you this really quickly, and considering it be VRChat related or what you have planned in the future here, is there anything you're looking forward towards for the most part? And if it's anything classified, you don't have to mention it. So, but anything plans?
Classified. Take over the government. I'm just kidding. Anything I'm looking forward to? Well, I do want to go meet some people IRL. I didn't know some people actually lived very close to me. Like, for example, I have a friend named Skolin. Apparently he lived in the same state as me, and I was like, why am I just now hearing about this? I just moved. You could have told me. I could have found a way over to visit you. Apparently there's some people who live, like, within driving distance that I wish to go see. So I'm like, oh, that's cool, because every year up to this year, I've went down to Florida, and then last year, Alchem was like, hey, can I tag along? And I was like, I guess. And then, I mean, so he tags along, and we ended up going to go visit 4 or 5 of our friends. I'm gonna be honest, I think I'm missing someone. I'm missing people. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. It'll come to you when you least expect it. It's one of those things. It'll come to you when you least expect it.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh. But we went and we visited them, And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I actually genuinely enjoyed meeting them. Again, I'm still kind of awkwardly shy meeting people. So, but I'm trying really hard to like step out of that. So I'm like really looking forward to meeting people IRL. Hopefully they don't mind like the resting bitch face. And that's me trying to be nice, because like I can just be doing nothing and people worry that I'm like mad, and I'm like, I'm just reading a book. I'm sorry. My face does not like communicate that I'm enjoying my book.
No, it's all good.
Because like Alcom, like he'll be streaming and he'll look over and I'm there just reading, and he'll be like, "You good? Like something happened?" I'm like, "I'm just reading." He's like, "You sure?" I'm like, pretty sure I'm just reading my book.
It's a very intense book. Don't worry about it.
Like when it gets to like really good parts, you're like, "Come on, just get to it, do the thing." And then they finally do it, and you're like, "Hey, they did it."
Hey, there you go. There you go on hand. So I have a curveball question I want to throw your way. Now, this question I've asked plenty of times on hand, to different people on hand. Everybody's got a different answer for it or so, depending on what you enjoy or so. But let's talk about anime. Let's talk anime here.
Okay, anime.
Right, anime. So there's a 3-part question to this, but I'll start with the first one here. When I say the word anime, what's the first series or movie that comes to your mind?
Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke. Ah, yes.
Okay, the reason that one's the first one that comes to mind was when I was 5 years old. That was the first anime series I've ever, well, it wasn't even a series, it was a movie that I seen. And I won't lie, I cried. Not because it was scary or anything, but I cried when they killed the deer god. And I was bawling because I was like, I don't know, I didn't really understand it, and I'm just crying. And then, like he morphs into like the black goo and he's killing people. And then you just see me just cheer up like, yeah, kill them, get your head back. And everyone's like, what's wrong with this child? And I'm like, he just wants his head. Like, that was like the whole like thing. And like my family is just like, yeah, see, weird child.
It's all good.
So yeah,
it's all good. It's all good on him. I mean, there are some really good Miyazaki movies out there, so like that's one of them. Princess Mononoke is a good one.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that was like the name of it for like the longest time, because I was like, oh, this is a really good movie, and then someone's like, oh, it's Miyazaki, and I was like, who's that? I told people, I was locked in a room. I have very little understanding of actual things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hear me go, yo, what's that? It's probably because I actually have no idea what that is. And they were like, oh, you should watch, insert all of these other movies. And I'm like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching almost all of the Miyazaki movies.
Well, I'll let you know there's
There
like
are
one
some
more.
that I can't find.
I'm pretty sure there might be some on Amazon or so, but there is one more Miyazaki movie that's coming out, and that's going to be his final one. I can't remember what the name of it is, but I think it's something based on his life or so. I think it's just kind of like as it is. So that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
I'll have to look it up and see. My second question I was going to ask you in this topic on hand be like, if you had a top 3 or top 5, be it anime series or anime movies, what would those be?
Well, Princess Mononoke is number 1. Mm-hmm. Because that's the one that introduced me. You can't just diss on that one ever. Mm-hmm. The Boy and the Beast. I saw a preview of that, and I went on an actual like movie hunt for this movie. It took me almost 6 months to find a place that had it, because I wanted the physical copy. Mm-hmm. And I got it, and I was like, ah. It also made me cry, so it's up there. I like the movie A Silent Voice. My friend introduced me to that one. And anytime someone's like, oh, what's a series I should watch? I point them to that movie and I go, you should watch that. It's very good. Let's see, another anime or series. I'm gonna be honest. Most of mine are just movies. I do like Dragon Ball, but I wouldn't put it up there in like my top
Mhm.
5, but it's up there. I put it like number 6.
That's fair. Perfectly fair.
I do like Wolf Brigade.
I've heard of that.
It's it's an older movie. Most people haven't heard of it anymore. It's about it's almost like a Red Riding Hood type of story, but it's about I'm trying to like say this in like a nice way because
No, it's all good.
it's like corruption of the government type thing, and I kind of like that. Also, again, I watched that as a child. I didn't understand it, but I eventually found it, and now it's mine. My very last one, I would say, is what is that movie? I'm gonna be honest, I'm blanking on the very last one.
It's quite alright. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll come to you when you least expect it. Like,
It probably will.
It probably will. Like, as soon as we kind of, like, get further in or so, it'll be like, oh, yeah, that one. And then it just, like, would pop in your mind when you least expect with a keyword. Usually keywords will trigger that thought process. So,
Probably.
probably on hand. So, there's that. My last question to that topic is, what is the anime that hits you close to home? Like, when you watch it, you feel it emotionally. If not, it relates to you on a personal level.
The Boy and the Beast.
Boy and the Beast. All right.
That's why it's ranked number 2. Basically, what ends up happening is this kid's parents dies. None of his relatives really want him, so he runs away. Said bear thing from a different world shows up, is like, hey, I'm gonna take you in, and basically is like a really shitty person. And I'm like, okay, because I know a lot of people like that. And basically he has like nothing, and he's really training this kid to be like his protege, basically. And it goes on through the years of this kid's life, and eventually he wants to leave, and he eventually does, but there's another human living in this world, which eventually becomes so corrupted that he ends up mortally wounding the bear dude. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what he technically is. And they get into a big fight, and then it basically the animals can once they can choose to die and become a god, but only once the previous one has ascended. So basically, he convinces the dude ahead of him to let him ascend, and then him stay the master of the area, and he becomes like the fighting spirit for this kid. And I'm like, I wish people would have that for me. I wish people would just be like, you know what? I want you to have my strength. And I'm like, ah. So yeah, like that one hits the most because like I wish people like I wish like I could give that to people, because I know some people lack that kind of self-confidence, and I'm just like, oh look, I can do this, and they're just like, man, you're really confident. I'm like, that's false, but thank you.
I mean, even if you're not able to give it that to them or so, you're at least inspiring them to be able to seek it out for themselves, like a journey, like a soul spirit journey for them.
Yeah.
To be able to inspire them to do it. You know, a little bit of inspiration definitely goes a long way for that. So, and it helps. Really helps.
I mean, it's a good movie.
Very good movie. Very good movie on hand. So, this gets me down to my final question. And I'm going to bring this camera over, and I'm going to give you center stage for this, because my question for you, and let me make sure I can get this lined up here. There we go. Making sure I can get this lined up here for the most part, especially just lined up there. There. Trying to make sure. There we go. Okay, there we go.
I moved too much. I'm sorry.
No. You're fine. You're fine. So, my question for you is this: what are your goals and dreams? And at best, what is the best advice you can ever give to anyone? I'll let you have center stage for this.
Okay, my goals and dreams. That's a good question. I'm going to be honest, because I told you about my life story about how I was locked up in a room. I've actually actually never had goals or dreams at all most of my life. Actually, like, this is one of the first times in my life that I've actually had my own freedom to do like whatever I wanted. So I actually don't have any dreams or goals at this current moment. Which I know some people are probably like, oh, really? Like, yes. I mean, to me, growing up, my life was not my own. So my dreams and goals honestly just didn't matter. So, like, yeah, that's actually, again, sounds so fucked up to say, but it was what it was. And now, like, I have that option, and I don't know what I want, because most people, like, they develop that growing up, like, this is what I want to be, like, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm just kind of, I guess, at the starting line with nobody there to help guide me to that. So eventually I'll find it, don't worry. But I guess if I was gonna give you guys advice, you know, just be nice to other people. Like, don't be an asshole to them, because you don't know what kind of struggles they're going with. Like, yeah, they might be an asshole, like, granted, but again, they might have reasons for it. I mean, I was an angry kid when I was growing up. I eventually just chilled, and now I'm like, whoo, yeah, super exciting. But no, like, be nice to them. I mean, granted, you don't have to be friends with them. I'm not gonna be like, oh, be friends with everyone. No. Like, at least don't be mean back to them. What is it? Kill them with kindness. That's the phrase. And I generally just like that phrase. Like, I don't like being mean. Like, I sometimes sound like I'm mean, or like I made like really, really angry like threats to people. And I'm like, no. Like, when I play games and I get like in the zone, yeah, I'll trash talk them, but at the end I'm like, yo, I'm so sorry. I don't really want to be like that. It's just like the heat of the moment for me. Even if like they can't hear me say I'm sorry, I do apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Because, you know, in the end of the day, it's just for fun. Everything you do should be because you want to do it, because you enjoy it. Not because someone's telling you to enjoy it, or because they enjoy it and you want to be part of that. Yeah, I get that, like, you just want to fit in. But just do what makes you happy. And eventually, it'll come back to you. You'll find your happiness. You'll find whatever it is that you're seeking.
Yeah. That's good advice. Good advice on hand here. Let me just try to get this all the way over here, if I can. It's kind of a little bit of an awkwardness on hand just to be able to kind of get it right, especially, you know, angle wise or so. But I will say this, overall sake or so, even with all this freedom in the world, just know this: the sky may be the limit, but no matter what, it will always be limitless for whatever you want to go or so. So I can say this on hand, personally for myself, and I'm pretty sure others can agree with this on hand. For you, Rainbow, fly high, and just like your name, arch your way across the sky and
try.
Arch your way across the sky and show them your true colors for who you are.
That's actually where my name came from, was because I have a colorful personality.
There you go. There you go. You got it.
Yeah, because everyone's like, why Rainbow? And I'm like, I don't know, because I have a colorful personality. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and shine bright. Shine bright like the stars of the sky here. There you go. There you go. So, before we call the interviewer on hand, I want to ask everybody in chat here, does anybody have any questions for Rainbow here? Rainbow on hand here.
Hey, chat.
Yep. Well, Nate's got a question for you. This is a question you usually ask every single guest we have here, but I'll ask it for you. All right, what game would you give the title of the best game in the world to, and why?
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
like, I'm gonna be honest, the reason why is because, again, that was the game that was introduced to me when I was starting out. Like, I've never played a game. Like I said, I watched my brothers play, like, the Paperboy, Mario 64, like all the games, and then all of a sudden when I got to play Mass Effect, I think that was like the best like thing I could ever experience. and I think it's like an underrated game. Like the first one, yeah, the graphics are really bad, but they fixed that with the limited edition.
Yeah.
Or
Uh,
they did fix that.
Legendary edition.
Thank you.
You good?
They did fix that, and like I said, I've played it numerous times. Like I've picked every single path, I've done every single side choice, and I've done this multiple times. Like ungodly amount of times. Like you'd probably think I'd be crazy enough to do it multiple times as each run of each class. And I'm just like, I like this. Yes, I do cry. I still cry even though I know what's going to happen. I bawl and I cry and I get mad because I'm like, how could they do this? Like I know it's there, but like it's just like every time I experience it for the first time, I experience it as said character that I'm playing. I pick the choices that I would pick if I was in said game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like, oh, I want this to be like the best run. No, I'm picking it because like, I like these choices. These would be my choices. Like, I wouldn't expect Heavy to be like, I wouldn't have done that. Like, how could you have done that choice? I don't know. That's what I would have done in that situation.
It'd just be like, you know, that scene from Dragon Ball Bridge would be like, that's not very Paragon-like. Renegade for life. You know? Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people, when they get to Saren, they don't know that if you have your Paragon or your Renegade option all the way filled to the max, you can convince him to shoot himself. And I'm like, I didn't know that. So the one time I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna max this out. And he did that. I was like so shocked. I was like, I didn't expect that. Like, I was like shooketh. And I'm like, oh my god. And like, I was freaking out.
No, I got you.
Because I'm so used to fighting them.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, the choices you have, it will at least expect it, and it does crazy things for you. One Shadow Spectre, speaking of Mass Effect Spectre here, Shadow Spectre here said, when will you accept that you are adorable? Apparently, you keep denying it.
I am not adorable. Chat is adorable. Heavy can be adorable. I'm not adorable. Square up.
Square up.
Square up.
Never thought I'd hear that before. It's like, why do I imagine I should be like, you know, I'm not adorable, you're adorable. Square up. Just like the hilarious of it.
Like you just got like,
Square
get ready to fight.
Get ready to fight. Accept this love and condition here. Oh boy. Okay. Good lord. So Crazy Hatter has a question for you, asking, have you ever played a game you disliked and was bad, and was it bad and why?
If I disliked a game, I probably stopped playing it because I didn't like the game, so I never finished it. Let's see. A game I dislike. Because I genuinely, since I don't get to play games, I find it very hard to dislike games. Like, I do, okay, for example, Getting Over It.
Yeah.
Do you like that game? Okay.
I've heard of the game, but I never got a chance to play it.
First time I played it, I never knew what a rage game was.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to play this. I'm playing it. I got over a tree. It took me like an hour to get over the first tree. And I'm like so excited. Most people, I guess, would have been angry. And I'm over there like cheering like this is the best day of my life. I climb up, get really high, and I fall. And now I guess everyone's like expecting me to get mad. And now you just hear me screaming because I thought I just killed the dude in the pot. Not like, oh, I have to start over, but like, oh my god, I killed this dude. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm like panicking. And everyone's like, calm down, it's fine. And I'm like, it's not fine. And it got to a point that I ended up like, I don't know, like I just genuinely enjoy games, but a game I dislike. Ooh. Is there a game I dislike? I don't know.
It's kind of hard to say, considering the fact that it would have to get you frustrated in order to be able to do that.
Was there ever a game that just got me frustrated? Like, I know like there's certain levels of games that get me frustrated, but not to the point that I hate them and that I would never play them again. No.
No? Okay.
I can't be like this game, just like
I
I
mean-
can never play it. No. I'd at least give it a try.
Yeah, give it a try on hand. You just got to get used to, like, say, certain controls on hand to be able to play it, or just be able to,
Yeah.
especially if they're, like, very difficult to understand. Like Super Mario Sunshine, for example. I'm only throwing that out there because it's not like I don't hate the game, I'm just frustrated with the controls.
I'm gonna be honest. I played my very first Mario game.
Yeah.
It was Super Mario Sunshine Bowser's Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the very first Mario game I played, and I was livid because, like, you could hear me just panicking because Bowser would show up, and I'm trying to do something, and he's showing up, and I'm screaming, like, don't kill me! And Malcolm's over there losing his shit, like... and you just hear me screaming, and all of a sudden I just be like, Daddy Bowser! And he'd just be like, what? And I'm just like... oh, but then I'd eventually do it, and I'm just like, thank you, Daddy Bowser! And he's like, what? And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you.
You said certain words on hand, and somehow it worked in your favor, so what can you do, you know?
Basically.
What can you do on hand? So, does anybody have any more questions on hand for Rainbow here? Any more questions for the most part?
Ask away.
I will say, while we're waiting on hand for the most part, I don't remember on hand. Did we ever get a full explanation behind the name Rainbow Senpai for you, or so, or was that briefly touched on?
Okay. It was. Oh Jesus.
No,
Sorry.
yeah, you're good.
I lost my footing. We briefly touched about it. It was when I first entered VRChat. VRChat. English, as you can tell, is my first language. It was Mr. Rainbow Senpai, Mr. Rainbow. Oh, it was Mr. Hello Rainbow.
Yep.
And again, I like the fact because I really just wanted to confuse people because I was like, I really don't want people to be like, oh, you're a chick, and I'm like, I really don't want to be a chick. I just want to be me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want like gender to have any part of that. Hella because I don't know. I just would say random ass shit, and I was like, you know what? No one's gonna ever think of this name because at the time when I really wanted a name, it was like, oh, already taken, or you have to put it this way, and I was like, Mr. Hello Rainbow, no one's gonna have this name. Surprisingly, no one had it, so I was like, okay, because it was Mr. Rainbow, and apparently that was taken, so I was like, Mr. Hello Rainbow. So I'm better than whoever that was. Eventually, because I hadn't played in so long, because at the time I would be gone from Malcolm's place for months on end, they eventually just closed down that account. So I could never get it back. So eventually I made another account that sadly again got deleted or dismissed or whatever you would like to call it. And I was like, you know what? Rainbow Senpai. And then eventually people were like, hey, you misspelled senpai, right? I was like, yes, but no.
Wait.
Because senpai was already taken, like the actual spelling.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to misspell it and put it as pie. Because, I'm a snack.
Well, there you go.
So that's why it's spelled senpai.
Oh, there you go. There you go on hand. There you go. There's your explanation on hand.
That's the best way to do that.
Best way to do it. I mean, hey, it's a workaround. So
more for the character.
Yep. Workaround, and
But that's a secret.
and it's unique. So there you go. There you go.
It is.
So
Because no matter like where I put it, it's never taken. So I'm like, haha, it's my name.
there you go. There you go. Usually it's a unique name that nobody really thinks about, that they don't even try to go after or so. How it is. So I don't have any more questions for you to share for the most part. So with this in mind,
Okay.
that will be episode 77 of Shoot the Breeze.